Okay, we're live.
Welcome, everyone, to the Police Service Board meeting for today. Anyway, I'd like to call the meeting to order. Are there any pecuniary interests?
None known,
I know.
Perfect. Delegation?
No.
none.
Perfect. Has everybody had a chance to review last meeting's minutes? Could I have, yes, moved by Lou,
Seconded,
seconded by Bev, all in favor, carried. Business arising from the minutes.
I didn't have anything.
no.
Perfect. Okay, council issues and correspondence.
There is an email that we'll deal with under new business from one of the counselors.
Perfect. Okay, so now we're on to new business. Oh, that's new writing that in there.
Oh,
Mr. Chris, can we have your report, please?
Nick,
Welcome.
Good.
Thanks for coming in.
Your day off. It is, yeah.
That's dedication right there.
Okay, just going over the last couple of months, whenever here. There was 8 false alarm occurrences, Kendall Street, St. Clair, Mara, Venetian, Ethno. I think the other after. For foot patrol occurrences, that's been really, that's been increased with foot patrol and bike patrol. So there was 6 dedicated occurrences for that. Foot patrol conducted around the waterfront park, and pretty much everywhere in Michigan, just walking and talking to people, and the bikes have been on a couple times.
Yeah, it was nice to see all the bikes here this week.
Oh yeah, because they did the training,
they had perfect weather for it.
yeah.
It was really cool, to see all these people go by on bikes. I was like, oh, that's really neat.
So
Yeah.
it's like 16 or something, 16 of them.
And I think it's nice that they come to Point Edward to do it because it just showcases our great village.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
They actually rode their bikes in the arena too, to simulate low light.
Oh yeah.
That's what one of the gentlemen was telling me, that
Okay.
they left the fire hall and they went over to the arena and they ride around in there because it's dark.
Turn all the lights off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would have liked to gone in and watch that. but
Yeah.
Cool.
For in March and April, there was 11 ride checks conducted. Venetian, Michigan, St. Clair. Couple occurrences involved ASD for given out in I think one had a driver's license suspension.
Was ASD.
What was there?
Okay.
Test.
Okay.
So tons of vehicles checked, like 20, 30, 40 vehicles per ride check. A couple of break and enter occurrences, one on Louisa Street. Break and enter to a new home construction, approximately $8,000 worth of tools stolen. But that's still being investigated. There's photos and video obtained from a nearby maintenance building. Another break and enter occurred to a storage unit. A lock was cut off and some property was stolen. For calls for service, 361. That involved pretty much anything, as well as a couple of marine occurrences on that as well. Also in follow-up for that, there's a lot of provincial offenses, which not just the tickets themselves, but warnings as well. So there's 86 of those. So that's pretty good for that time frame. They've really been stepping up the patrol and enforcement in general. So
Could you give me an example of what you mean by like a warning?
yeah, so if like for example, if they stop someone for speeding,
Okay.
they might get a speeding ticket, but then they might get a warning for expired insurance card.
Okay,
Or the biggest thing now, because we have the cameras in the car. Like, I don't know, there must be 150 hits on the camera per day, just expired plates. That's the biggest thing, because the messaging is a big thing for people. Just even though it doesn't cost anything to do it, the sticker's free. And you can go on the website, you can even pick 1 or 2 year, it doesn't matter. But it's still, it'll set off the camera saying it's expired. So we'll stop them for that. That's the biggest thing that's coming up. There's, like I said, there's 100 to 150 hits at least per day. that we get. If you drive around, like it's just parked cars, it just bing, 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 all the way down the
Wow.
street, right? Because,
So we should be checking to make sure, because we used to get the notice, right?
Yeah, even that doesn't happen. So even a lot of people running into like their driver's license be expired on their birthday, but just they don't get the reminder. I'm not sure what going on or what the issue is, but that comes up a lot, so.
Question, would it make sense for us to put a notice out to people to remind them to renew their
Yes.
driver's license on their
Yeah,
birthday and their,
I was
Just-
thinking the
yeah.
same thing.
Yeah, you can see exactly that. We have cameras now.
Yeah.
It checks every plate that we drive by. So just,
Just remind of the process with the, since they stopped sending out the stickers.
Does the OPP have something prepared like that that we
I
could
think
just,
there's been a couple of media blasts out about that.
Okay.
Just pretty much that we have cameras and just.
Okay.
reminder to get your plates.
I was just thinking if you had something created, we wouldn't have to,
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it can sound like it can send to you. Or-
that'd be great. Thank you.
then we send it out in constant contact.
And
Matt,
Facebook
my-
it. and-
Sure, my suggestion is we just don't do it once,
Yeah,
Mm,
like every time something goes out, just make sure we send it to our site. And
Yeah.
also through the mailing list that you've generated.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't think there's a time frame. There's like some plates are expired a couple of years, some are a couple of weeks. It's just.
When you can set up to have email reminders. So you sign up for 2 years and you have it, you get an email maybe a month before it comes due,
Yeah,
that you have to replace again. So if you use that system or.
I wonder how many of mine are
I know
expired.
the people my age forget to get reminded.
I just did that recently because I found out mine was expired because I
Yeah, you just won't think of it.
didn't pay attention. And I fixed it and then I set myself up for the reminders.
My birthday was in January, it might be overdue.
But yeah, that's the biggest thing. So they're stopping pretty much everybody
Hmm.
and saying, have all your plates expired, but there'll be a warning occurrence generated. But so that's the big part of that. So
If you didn't get a warning and you got a fine, what's the cost?
$110.
I mean,
Ouch.
mhm. Okay, thank you.
Other than that, yeah, just to break down the calls for service a little more, so, MHA calls, a few warrant calls, unwanted persons, stuff like that, neighbor disputes. Nothing major other than that. And then, a part of those calls, again, there's, 80, sorry. 79, property checks in March and another 60 in April. So I've just been going around checking buildings, checking doors, doing property checks, so,
But randomly all over.
yeah, that's under every shift.
Yeah.
And those are mostly businesses.
Yeah, mostly businesses, yeah. And I think the media officer had set up, there was a fraud presentation at the library. That was done recently, and he's looking to keep setting those up, in the future too, so
Is that everything?
that caps it off, yeah.
Perfect. Does anybody have any questions? Nope. Okay. So on to the next item. Another thing that we should discuss is speeding, because that's a big issue.
Sure.
How has the speeding been going? Have you guys been doing like certain blitzes in certain areas on like St. Clair Street and Michigan Ave? How's that been going?
Yeah, so that's the same thing, that's every day, and I noticed there was a difference now with the sticks, installed on St.
The
Clair.
bollards?
But you can see that they're kind of doing their job, and I noticed myself, like vehicles approaching and putting their lights on
Yeah.
as they go through each one. Recently I set up a focus patrol on Alfred Street, near Victoria, and after all that, there's ongoing complaints there with the speeding as well. Vehicles out of the park and stuff like that. There was a few concerns about vehicles traveling again on the same road with loud exhaust and stuff like that, so. I think that Fast and Furious crew that was going around before, so.
Oh, that was an actual thing.
Well, I don't know, just.
Oh,
They all drive together in those little cars.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
the little
okay.
group of guys that hangs out at Canatera Park.
Style cars.
Yeah.
Just style
Okay.
when you see it, or.
They're
they have
Subarus.
in the park. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they have to go slow with the speed bump, and then. Every gas to go again, so.
And then launch.
So now question for you, as far as loud vehicles go, how,
I'm going to,
oh, sorry, let's go into the next thing first.
Actually, we should have a motion to receive and file the report, if we don't mind.
Oh, could I have a motion to receive and file the report, please?
I should remind you,
Thank you.
Seconded.
Lou, seconded by Bev, all in favor? Motion
Thank
carried.
you.
Okay, next item, vehicular noise concerns. So we had a note sent by Councillor Mondu asking if the OPP could use the Highway Traffic Act to help deal with noise concerns created by certain vehicles in the village.
Mhm.
So we've had some complaints. Tis the season, right? And so there's people out and they've got their motorcycles, which are louder. They've got their little race cars and things with maybe mocked up mufflers that are a little bit louder.
Yeah.
Can we make, what can you guys do to cut back on noise pollution that's coming through Point Edward?
Yes, and I, like you said, it goes to the style of cars, stuff like that, we get them on storage and. You know, sportier cars or the modified vehicles, or you're gonna see them now more than obviously with the summer months, the motorcycles. And again, yeah, we could stop them and have a conversation and see what kind of modifications we have. If something's damaged, then we can do it with the one way, but otherwise there's necessary noise. That's a potential offense that we could issue.
Okay, perfect. Lou?
in Windsor yesterday, and with regard, they talked to a few friends of mine that were in least. And ironically, as we were talking, we were listening to the news. And that was a concern in Windsor, especially on the border on the side drive, Park Street.
Oh, I read that. I was in-
Okay, and they're enforcing the area traffic act. And I found an interesting glitch when the announcer was talking, then I questioned the old retired officers. That if they soup up their cars to make noise, the insurance company, if they find out, they can drop them. That's a pretty stiff penalty.
Yeah, that's probably true, because the insurance asks you that when you get your insurance, if you need any modifications to your car, and if you won't tell them, then.
If you don't disclose, right?
So do the police disclose to the insurance companies? Is there a way to do
No.
that?
The way, man,
Yeah, sure.
the way it was explained to me, once the insurance company receives a noise, they follow up,
Oh, they connect the ticket.
okay, because the insurance company automatically gets the ticket,
Mhm.
right? And so at that point, they follow up. What's this noise? What's this? What happened?
So it's further repercussion of getting a ticket. It's beyond the ticket.
Yes,
Then you have a impact
Yes.
on the insurance. I didn't know that.
and
Yeah.
I asked the guys how, and then that's what they explained to me.
Hmm.
And I said, "Holy cow, now that becomes very serious, because then try getting another insurer in this day and age."
Yeah,
Mhm.
especially when they know why you lost your insurance.
And that's purpose, I forget the word they use, but it's purposeful. And something to do with that.
So is there a way possibly on like Michigan Ave and or the street coming out of the yacht club, Fort, right? You think
Yeah.
I know my streets in Point Edward by now. And one coming out of King Terra, and I know that you guys have been on Alfred because I've seen you guys. That's where I live. Anyway, is it possible to do some sort of a pull vehicles over and check type idea, kind of like a ride program, but for
Yeah,
noise?
I was thinking that, we said, yeah, they could, even if they're on foot or on the bikes and, or ride, or out of ride check, doing the ride check stuff, duties, they could speak at the same time. For sure.
Further noise, further pollution, but this is a sign pollution. Especially outside of Canatera Park, once over the old track, put up a sign there and said. Loud mufflers, excessive noise, you could lose your insurance.
Put a sign that says you could lose your insurance.
Warning, the repercussions. I'm just throwing it out there,
Mhm.
just as a preventative measure. We can add it also in, into our
Messaging that goes
our
out.
messaging that
Yeah.
goes out all the time. But I'm gonna confirm, I'd like to confirm that with an insurer
Mhm.
and make sure that we dot our i's and cross our t's on that one.
But I think that at least then, right, pulling people over and saying, hey, has your car been retrofitted, has whatever, and that should help a little bit.
Yeah, and then by doing that, too, every time we like talk to them or do something with them, there would be an occurrence, right? So you can track it the next time they've been one once, then the next officer will know that. too.
Yeah.
So,
I just had a comment on this item. The message was asking if they could use the noise bylaw. This says highway traffic act.
Yeah, they asked for noise bylaw and I had written back and said that it would
Right,
fall
I
under the
just wanted
traffic
to-
act.
I just wanted to confirm, like, we didn't think that the noise bylaw
Insufficient.
was applicable for this kind of occurrence. It's the highway
Yeah, that's a
traffic act,
better.
right?
And basically the noise bylaw isn't as, right, like it's more for parties, dogs,
Mhm.
things like that, like
Right,
neighborly
yeah,
type thing.
Doing work in your yard before 7 AM.
Yeah, where the traffic act covers the other. And I mean, the
Mhm.
traffic act has stricter implications than the noise bylaw. Yep.
Continuing on this one with Windsor that they're starting this week. It only goes to September, so it's a finite time period, only when
During the
the
season,
need,
Yeah.
well, that is said,
yeah.
the season. So. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, for sure. And I think with more people, like you said, we set a bicycle course and more people, I think we've already ramped up the foot patrol appearances, bike patrol, so with the amount of officers that we can. Like we'll see police out there more than anything, so that should help you.
Perfect. Awesome.
And they told me this, and the electric cars, when we had this conversation, on the electric cars, they have these different sounds,
The noise levels, yeah.
the noise levels and everything like that,
It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
because they're so quiet, right?
Yeah,
So if you're conscious and you want to let the person know, there's a sound that you can make to allow them to
Mhm.
hear you
Yeah.
coming.
I didn't know that.
And then for the boisterous ones, I don't know, I don't have an electric car, but
Yeah.
I'm just listening to,
Huh.
what people are explaining to me. I found that fascinating.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so do you want me to reply then to Councillor Mondu with what we've discussed today? Perfect. Any other new business that we have?
I had a question about, I think there was going to be, or memory serves me that they were gonna do a bike, some kind of bicycle event. Bike safety or something. Wasn't that talked about for maybe June?
I'll check on that.
Yeah.
I'll just set it up.
It seemed to me that it's been done in the past. It was done at the arena. And it's done, I think it sort of coordinates with when
Bike
school
safety,
gets out,
yep.
and it's about bike safety.
Is that done in conjunction with the Optimists?
Yeah,
has been
normally,
in the
yeah, it
past,
has
yeah.
been.
So we would have
Sean
to,
went a bike one time.
Yeah,
we'd have to contact the Optimists then. Will you do that? Do you have a contact with the Optimists?
Sure,
I thought we had talked about it a couple months ago that was going to happen. But I didn't see it, so I just- if it's on, then we need to be communicating and probably look at some
Sure, sure.
prizes.
I think last time we did it, it ended up being September. It
Oh.
wasn't June,
Oh, it was
remember?
done-
Remember, it
It was
was,
done for the start of school.
yeah. But again, I mean, June's good too. So whatever time they can make work with the Optimists, if
Yeah.
the Optimists are,
The only thing I would want to look at is we've sponsored or we've donated to Pathways that are doing a bicycle program. Jim, do you remember when that is? And
Not
that's,
off the top of my head. no.
yeah, so I would want to stay away from their time
Yeah,
period.
theirs is totally different, like theirs
yeah.
is around for people with disabilities.
Yeah.
So it's
Which, I
different
mean,
genre
this,
altogether.
this program wouldn't be, people could come if they had a disability,
Right.
but the other is specific, so
Okay. Just
this
to
is like
keep
a
it-
Saturday morning type of thing usually.
It's almost like a clinic.
Yeah,
Okay,
It's-
well,
it's
even
around
September
fast.
would work because that gives you more time to organize and communicate. I just don't want to lose sight of it because it's a worthwhile effort.
sooner is always better, just because then,
yeah.
right, whatever. So whatever you guys can make happen and whatever the Optimists, if they're interested, right? So, awesome. Okay, so can I do we have to make a motion for what we just discussed?
I don't, there's nothing there that needs a motion, no.
Okay, so on to item 8, the review of the financial statements. Does anybody have any questions?
I didn't. There wasn't much. Out of the ordinary.
Yeah, pretty sure.
Yeah, pretty straightforward.
Okay, perfect.
2 months extra.
Yeah.
Expenses.
Yeah,
Can I have someone make a motion, please, to approve the financial statements?
I'll make that motion.
Bev,
Thank you.
second by Lou, all in favor? Motion carried. Oh, sorry, there was one thing I just found in when I went through. I do have a question. On the citizen self-reporting, it is on page 22. So basically it just says different ways the citizens can, or what we should self-report for. So it says lost or missing property under 5,000, stolen license plates. The very last one is a driving complaint. How do you self-report a driving complaint on a website? Like, to me, that would be, because it wouldn't get checked right away. Like, wouldn't you be smarter to call that in if you saw?
It would be, so if it's happening, unless you saw it earlier, then, you saw a black truck with this license plate, occurs every day, going to stop sign or something like that, then you could report it after the fact.
Okay, okay, perfect. I just wasn't. And so with this citizen self-reporting thing, does it go directly to the Point Edward people, or does it go to some big database somewhere, or, and how do they follow up?
Yeah, so our communication center will, whoever's working that day will generate occurrence and everyone will see it on their computer, and it's assigned whoever's on it then. So that officer did assign follow up.
And so they do follow them up, or is it one of those things that if it's,
Don't know, they follow. them.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
that was my question on that. Sorry, I forgot to ask that earlier. Okay, any other questions, issues, anything that needs to be discussed?
Need to get a date for the next meeting. I don't have a calendar. I guess I do on my computer. Normally it would be July. Thirteenth would be the normal day.
I'm available.
What, I'm sorry. Sidetracked. What? no, what-
July 13th.
It's Thursday.
Yep, that's fine.
Right, Lou, you good with that? Chris?
They just put it in.
Perfect. Okay, so next meeting date will be July 13th at 9 a.m. And then can I have a motion to adjourn? Woo, thank you. Thank you, everyone, for coming.